homemaking, your encouragement in chaos. So it's after dinner and I'm just trying to clean up a little bit around here. Got a little bit of my baking soda and my vinegar. Gonna try to clean out a little bit of this sink. But you know what? There's something else that I need. Let me see. Oh yeah. I need trusty old bleach.
What are you talking about? What do you have?
Shh, don't tell nobody.
We're all gonna die!
So yeah, unfortunately I had a little incident with bleach quite a ways ago. It's been several years, probably since back 2006. If you want to read the full blog post about this hilarious little tale, you can always go check it out. The struggle with patience. I just released it on my blog. So in 2006, we bought a home in Texas, and this home was a foreclosure home. And so we had a little cosmetic stuff that needed to be taken care of around the house, so we did that. And then when we got moved in, we were all excited because we were going to get to move in there. But here's the thing. It costs money to do renovations. And we're the type of people that didn't want to spend a bunch of money to try to do renovations without having cash. So one of the things that we did is we would save our money. And we actually went without a stove for about 6 months and learned to cook on an electric skillet, which was great. It was actually my husband's mother, so you can imagine how old that electric skillet was. But we made many, many great meals off of that electric stove. However, I would like to say that we were able to replace this ugly green tile that was in our house, but we weren't. And so we had to take our time and we had to save our money. So my husband told me the tile, it was a hunter green. Now I'm talking like ugly, pukey. It was awful. Okay. But I was like, okay, I can deal with it. He's like, yeah. But the only thing is the grout. If you know much about grout has to be sealed. And if the grout is not sealed, then it becomes really icky and dirty over time. So the grout wasn't sealed. And so it was like a dirty, blackish, gray, brown color. I don't really know. But anyways, it was really, really gross. And so me and my bleach episodes, which if you have read my blog post, but wait, there's more. Yeah, I have a history. Bleach and I have a history. So anyway, so in this debacle of a thing, I decided, you know what, I can't wait. I don't have the patience to wait, which is what this whole post is about, because patience is something that I really, really struggle with, because I expect things to be done in a timely manner. And when they're not done in a timely manner, I get really, really like out of whack. My life just goes crazy. When I say I want something done, I want it done then. I don't want to wait 20 minutes from then. So anyway, so that was one of those moments where my impatience got the better of me, and I decided I was gonna clean the grout myself. I had no children at the time, and so what better did I have to do? I was off this day. So I went and got me some bleach, and I got me some baking soda, and I got down into the grout, and I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed the grout. It took me half of the day to scrub my kitchen floor. Half the day. And so after I got finished and I was scrubbing this kitchen floor, I went and let it dry for about an hour, opened my windows in the kitchen, and I let it dry. I only had 2 windows in the kitchen. I had one on one end of the kitchen and I had one on the other. And I opened those windows so that I could let it breathe and let it dry for about an hour. Well, I thought it was dry. And so I come back and I checked the grout, and lo and behold, it looked exactly the same as what it did when I got done. And it didn't work. In my opinion, it didn't work. So I thought, you know what? Forget this. I was upset because I had spent all that time trying to fix this grout and it did not work. And so I pulled out my trusty old bleach. And instead of doing the smart thing and just like barely putting it on little spots and then going on, no. Susan decides that she's going to pour the bleach on the floor and then consistently scrub it and scrub. I didn't realize that when vinegar and bleach are mixed together, they become extremely toxic. Yeah. So I get about halfway through the floor and I'm like, I just don't feel good. My eyes are burning, my throat's scratchy. I'm just like, I don't feel good. I'm woozy. I'm like, something's not right. So I get up, I go outside and I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit better. I go back in and I'm scrubbing. I'm like, I don't feel good. So I'm opening up all the windows and then all of a sudden, it hit me and I was like, ammonia. Oh my Lord, what have I done? And so I run and I open up all the windows in the house and I'm like, oh I can't believe I did this. So I get finished, and my husband comes home, and when he comes home, he has to walk right past the window that goes into the kitchen, and the first thing he says to me is, "What have you done?" Because he knew that my impatience had gotten the better of me, and of course I explained it to him and told him all the things that I had done that day. Yeah, I did learn a valuable lesson, and I also learned that bleach did not help my grout at all, because apparently it was meant to be just a little bit gray. That's what you get for letting your impatience get the better of you. But I do talk more about patience and how that I personally am still working on this impatient attribute that I have, that I know that patience is a virtue, and I understand that it is part of the fruit of the Spirit, and that God requires us to have it. He's long-suffering, He's kind. He talks about it all throughout His Word. But even Jesus sometimes got a little frustrated with those that were around Him. He did get upset with the Pharisees because they kept tempting Him. He sighed heavily in His spirit. I also talk about the fact that not far after that, it's the disciples that He gets frustrated with, because He tells them to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, and they automatically think, oh, well, we forgot to bring bread along for our journey. So that's what He's talking about. He's like, what? Do you not understand what I'm talking about? He gets really upset and frustrated with them. But in that same sense that He gets frustrated, He handles them in a loving manner. Even the Pharisees, He handles them in the right manner. And so we have to take cues from Jesus in those kind of things. And even though we might want to be impatient sometimes and do things our way instead of waiting on God and allowing Him to do it in His timing and in His what He wants to do, sometimes it's better for us to just wait, because God has things worked out in a perfect plan that we don't understand. I couldn't understand why it took 10 years for me to have my child. I didn't understand that. But God was testing my faith through those 10 years so that I could open up and learn to trust Him completely. And so I trust Him completely. Now, does that mean that my flesh doesn't get in the way sometimes and it still wants to rear its ugly little head and say, oh, hey, by the way, don't you want to do that yourself instead of waiting on God to handle it for you? Yes, it does. It absolutely does. It gets in the way. But I have to pray, and I have to ask God to help me through my circumstances so that I can martyr the flesh, get rid of it, and do what God wants me to do and to follow after as well. I hope that this has helped you somehow today. It's just a little funny between me and my family. They know me and they know my bleach. I keep it, I still have it, I still use it, but I use it very sparingly because I understand the results and the power of bleach. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. For more encouragement and chaos, be sure to check out my blog at www.making.com, and let's encourage one another and tackle the chaos of life together.